Mr. Michael Morone.
Item number one is to inform the board that Mr. Mike Cooper, the Weems CEO, will attend the October 18th regular meeting. Mr. Cooper informed me that the representatives from Tallahassee Memorial and Alliant are scheduled to meet later this week, so he should have more substantial information for the board at the second meeting in the month. So that's why he's not here today. He usually comes to the first meeting of every month. Item number two, board action to authorize the chairman's signature on Dewberry Purple Ridge Professional Services proposal for the Ellis Van Fleet and 17th Street County Incentive Grant Program project. They will provide surveying, design, and permitting services. This project will be for the widening, as much as the right-of-way allows, resurfacing, striping, shoulder stabilization, culvert replacement and extension, signs, and grassing for approximately 0.65 miles of Ellis Van Vliet and 17th Street.
So
I need board
moved.
action.
Second.
Have a motion second on the floor, all in favor? All opposed, motion carries.
Item number three, board action to authorize the chairman's signature on Emo Architects contract for Phase 2 of the Armory renovation project. This contract has been approved by the state. County was awarded a grant for $180,000, and we are required to provide an $18,000 match. Of course, this is for floors, structural, the windows, ADA improvements, front door, that type of work.
So moved.
Second. Motion second on the floor, all in favor?
Aye.
All opposed, motion carries.
The next item is board action to authorize the chairman's signature on access and use agreements for our current natural resources damage assessment projects, NERDA. There are 4 projects. Lombardi's Park, which they call Waterfront Park. So if you see that, that's what they're referring to. Indian Creek Park, East Point Fishing Pier, and St. George Island Fishing Pier. Design is almost completed, so we should be entering the bidding phase in the near future. As Attorney Schuler said yesterday, this must be something new from the state, because they did it for
Ballpoint?
Island View.
Island View.
Island.
Yeah, see, the state,
Yeah, so I don't
the state of
know.
Florida's getting admin money, now they're getting design money. So the state of Florida is moving further and further in assisting us, even though we didn't ask for any of this assistance. They're moving further and further because they want to keep control their share of the money.
Yeah, so now they want these agreements, and I guess
So
to,
it's a very powerful consortium, using the same vote. Before we get said and done, the consortium expenditure plan, they had the same problem. I say problem, we may end up submitting for project, and guess what? The state's going to manage it for us.
just to get the admin money.
Just get admin money.
But I do need board action.
So moved.
Second.
Have a motion second on the floor, all in favor? All opposed?
We really don't have no choice on that. Or give up a bunch of money. I mean, we didn't really have any choice but.
sir.
Maybe it was like the project, give us the money, want some of it back.
Yeah, you got a point there. Item 5, inform the board that Mr. Doug Schuler is in the process of reviewing the bids that the county received for the Carabel and St. George Island Beach restroom renovation project. He's trying to determine what caused the bids to be higher than anticipated. At some point, he will forward a recommendation to the board regarding this project. He's trying to find his cost, Commissioner, what it is, and see, do we rebid? Do we try and do one project each fiscal year? He's working as best as he can.
Or
He'll get
increase
back
the
to
scope
us.
of the project.
Yeah, yeah, you know.
We run into that this morning.
Yeah, I was gonna say the same thing. It's cheaper to knock it down and rebuild it. than it
These
is to
are Franklin
renovate.
County buildings, right?
These two are, the
Okay.
bathrooms are, yes.
Yeah, they was twice as much as the bids.
Yeah, one of the contractors, seen me at the grocery store, and he says, I could probably build all new buildings for that much money.
Yes,
Yeah.
so, he'll make a recommendation soon enough, Commissioners, and see. The next item, inform the board that I am in the process of advertising for the administrative assistant. This person will be responsible for creating the agenda packets, typing resolutions, letters, and assisting the commissioners and myself with secretarial duties. In addition, that person will also learn some of the permitting and building department duties to help it back up in our office. They'll have a 25-hour work week at a rate of $11.50 per hour. One ad already ran last Thursday, the final ad should be running this Thursday, and I closed the application process the following week. Then we start interviews. Inform the board that county has received the annual report from the Florida Forest Service. No action is needed, but a copy of the report is included in your electronic packet, which is not true. I forgot to scan it in, so I will send that to you via email. Speaking of the Florida Forest Service, item number 8, inform the board that on Monday, October 3rd, Mr. David Morse of the Florida Forest Service informed me that his agency would be spraying herbicides in Tate's Held Forest. I forwarded copies of ordinances 9209 and 9904 that addresses the use of herbicides and insecticides in the county. I also asked that he provide a breakdown of the herbicides that will be used. Mr. Moore sent me an email that indicates that they will be spraying outside of the primary and secondary protection zones as specified in ordinance 929. Included in your packet is County Ordinance 929, information on the breakdown of the herbicide, and an aerial map indicating where this herbicide will be sprayed. Need some discussion, Commissioners. I need to know, I guess, including Alan and Attorney Schuler, can we say no to this? Or do we just comment and say, well, you know, be as careful as you can? What direction and discussion here, Commissioners?
Mike, I've got to get more information. This is the first I've heard of this, so I can't comment on
Yes,
this right now.
because I got this late yesterday, and I do apologize for not sending it to you, but I'll send you their contract too. He sent me a page or so.
Yeah, 'cause they gonna spray up around all these creeks and all up in here. It's gonna
Oh, I'm
be
sorry,
bad.
you need to know where it is? I'm sorry, if you go to page 139, starts off with our ordinance 929.
I'm just looking for the map.
Oh, the map is on, give me a second, Commissioner.
What page is the map on?
I'll tell you right now, it's on
I
page
don't know what page it's on.
149.
Looking
What
at
turn
it.
were they doing right
Go to
there?
Yeah.
page 149,
And then
Commissioner.
over there off of McIntyre, they're doing a piece off of McIntyre. They're doing about 5 points over there.
Okay.
No, I'm sorry, I'm wrong, page 151, I'm sorry, 151.
Yeah.
The color map is what we're looking at.
They say it's a total of 539 total acres. Let's see. Aerial herbicide, okay, it's just an aerial map, but they're not gonna be spraying it aerial, are they?
It looks
That's
like,
the impression I got,
That's what it
Commissioner.
looks like to me, and that's what I'm scared
That's the
of. Go back in there and read all the side effects and all that. There's about 5 or 6 pages of all the effects, and it says that you need to, if you're gonna spray that, you need to move the cattle out to different pasture and don't let them there for so many days. How you gonna do this with the deer and the wildlife?
Well, I'm also gonna forward this to
And
Eric.
I know one year, I'm opposed to herbicide, I am, and any kind of spraying or anything. I think it needs to be done naturally myself. I mean, that's just me, but, let the invasive species grow and have fun is the way I look at it. And you fight the best way you can. But the thing about it is, I know a couple of years ago, they did this without notification, and I know it got into, dog hunting season, and some of the dogs got the stuff up their nostrils, and it killed them, some of the dogs. So it can happen. And I'm very concerned with what time of the year they're gonna be doing this.
I'll send the
And I don't
information to
think-
Eric.
November 24th,
February 24th?
November 24th,
November 24th,
Thanksgiving Day.
okay.
Attorney Schuler.
I know what you're saying.
Out there hunting season.
See what they
But,
say.
it concerns me. We need to get some more information.
what are they trying to control, invasive plants?
I'm sorry, say again, Commissioner?
Trying to control invasive plants?
I guess. He,
I got.
honestly, Commissioner, he wasn't that specific. He called yesterday. All this was done yesterday.
Well, I see it, like I said, I mean, I don't see a lot of it around the rivers, you know, because you got it around the 5 Point area and the Double Bridge Road. But then over here, you're a pretty good distance, but still, aerial, it's gonna go. It's gonna go wherever, so it concerns me.
I'll call him back this afternoon and let him know, some of the concerns of the board.
And we got some concerns with
See
it.
what response he gives.
We
out.
don't do, I mean, we don't do aerial mosquito spraying for that reason and all that. So we need to be careful.
Okay, all right, well, I'll let the board know, probably through email as soon as he gets back to me. We already addressed item 9 and item 10, inform the board. You've been invited to participate in a commemorative event at British Fort National Historic Landmark and Fort Gadsden in the Apalachicola National Forest. It's going to be on October 22nd. A copy of the invitation is in your packet, and it's going to be at that site, Historic Landmark site. If you need more information, I'll contact USDA, the park, Director of Parks, and I'll let you know. I have one more item that is not in my packet. Commissioner, if you could pass these down. There's a letter that we got. I made a copy of Commissioner Parrish's letter, and I'm sure, I don't know if you guys got, I didn't get one. Maybe I didn't. Anyway, I remember getting one of these, but if you indulge. For 60 years, we've worked with the county, state, and government localities to restore power to residents and to provide meals, lodging, and equipment and logistic support to the power crew members in the field. We spent months in New York City during Hurricane Sandy, weeks in the hills and the hollows of West Virginia, midsummer where residents had no AC or cell service, shacked up with busy East Coasters who suddenly had no fuel or water or need to get from place to place. Seeing people at their worst comes with the territory, but the town of Apalachicola caught us completely off guard in the best way possible. In all my years providing relief to disaster-struck areas, neither I nor anyone on my team has ever come across a more accommodating, helpful, and kind community. From the local Ace Hardware store, where the owner Mark Willis and his crew went above and beyond, to the hotels, both in Carabel and Apalachicola, who shortly had no vacancy after we came into town, the IG and Piggly Wiggly, who stayed open past closing time, even delivered supplies to our staging support yard here at the airport. The Armory and the Community Center, who opened their doors and floor space to set up cots for exhausted crews, and the Apalachicola Airport, where Chris Stokes, Mark Vail, and John Moore opened their offices, bathrooms, and refrigerators to us, and were willing to help wherever there was a need. The sense of community and team was overwhelming. Thank you, Team Appalach, for your support and provision. We are so thankful Hurricane Hermine only came with a big bark, but had it come with a bite or reappears in the future, you can count that we would do whatever it takes to support your families and their needs. Thank you from your biggest fan, Sean Kent, Vice President, Recovery Logistics, supporting Duke Energy. I think for the county, this is an excellent letter, Commissioner, and it strengthens the relationship between us, the county, and Duke Energy. I think this is fantastic. And I just wanted it read into the minutes, because this is something good for us. That is my report, Commissioner.
I got a question. When's Mike Cooper, you said, coming?
He said he's coming at your next regular meeting, 2 weeks from today.
Yeah, because I was wanting to give the ones that, the ones that didn't get the money, not the top six or the whatever, the low people that got their raise, I'd like to see them get their little raise back. Not the big raises they got, the ones that got the little raises. Because they didn't get them 18, 19, 20 cent an hour. I think the highest one might have been 28 cents an hour.
Is that something you'd like me to inform Mr. Cooper
Yeah,
and see what he can present to you
the
at the
rest
next
of the
meeting?
board's with me on it. I mean, the board, that's the way I feel.
I'd like to know what the raises were. I thought some of the
That's
nurses
no
got
problem,
like.
hold on, that's no
like
problem.
5,000.
I'll sure give them to you.
Have you got
Well,
it?
Yeah, hold on.
if it's the same as that spreadsheet that they gave me a few months ago when a couple of the commissioners did records requests, I can send that
You
back
gotta
to
go
the
to it,
board.
right, there's your raises. There's your top six.
But what are the others?
Well, it's 18, 20 cent, that was 18 cent an hour, 30 cent an hour, 22 cent an hour. I think the highest one was 30 cent an hour or something.
I don't have no problem with that.
I might talk to Michael about, Mike Schuler, make sure, where we stand.
Well, Commissioner, hey, the first I've heard about this is this morning, and,
Well, I haven't said nothing, I mean, it's
yeah,
just.
I know,
Yeah.
I'm just hearing about it now.
I just didn't
and
wanna get
I'll need to
detail,
get back with your labor attorney and talk to them, because remember, the recommendation from your, labor attorney, your outside counsel, was to claw back all of the raises across the board, and then at such future period, when the hospital was in better shape and y'all had the money to give the raises, then you could go back and reconsider it. So I would need to go back and talk to your labor counsel about what you're proposing this morning.
I'm talking about these little bitty raises that the people got out there that we had to take all of it at one time to do what we had to do, but some of them, I mean, there's the big raises right there.
But you have to be careful when
That's
you're,
what I'm asking him.
when you're discriminating against this class or that class. I mean,
That's the reason why we had to do the motion like it was.
Right.
That's what I'm saying.
and we don't give raises.
No,
All we can do is ask Mr.
Cooper too, that's what I'm saying, to do it,
reevaluate.
reevaluate and do it.
But we can't tell him to reevaluate a certain class of people. If you do, you're discriminating. Like you're saying, I understand what you're saying. A lot of them got in contact with me. Well, we got a raise a year ago, and we now have a few more bills that we took on because of our raise, and now the county commission took it back away from us, and now I can't pay my bills. I understand that, but we cannot direct someone to give a lower class person a raise and not address the other. I mean, number one, we don't give the raises. The CEO looks at that as a whole, but we don't need to be sending him the message to, I agree with the attorney
I
on
just was
that.
asking Michael to look into what we need to do, I mean, for the ones that hadn't got,
And does he have the money to give any raises?
yeah.
You gotta have a way to pay these things. When you give somebody a raise, you gotta make sure you have a revenue stream that you can pay this every week, every 2
I
weeks.
can't, I can't bring that subject up.
And I don't know what he has out there right now, whether he has the ability to give raises and sustain those raises, or does he give it to them and a week later he comes back to us and needs more money because he gave raises that he can't pay? That, that has to be done at the hospital level. It can't be done at the board level. But I do understand what you're saying.
Yeah.
I've heard it and I understand it and I understand where the people are at. So, it's a tough situation, to address, to say the least. I understand how the employees feel when they take on more debt, and now they don't have the money to pay that debt, which we didn't give the raises, based on the financials of the hospital. That's what the CEO is supposed to be doing. And he should be making sure he's got a revenue stream to pay this stuff when he brings up the expectation of the employees that you now have a raise, but then if you don't got the money to pay it, then he has to come to the county and take the money out of the.
That's the reason why it happened, because we didn't have the money to pay it. I mean, the raises
Right.
we give, we was going and borrowed all we could borrow or get out of the trust fund to pay.
So I agree with the attorney, needs to look at it, and then we'll try to make a recommendation to Mr. Cooper to reevaluate or look at it, but we can't ask him just to look at one sector, because if you do, I feel like that's discrimination. Just as black and white, male or female. There's a lot of different things goes into discrimination besides just black and
That's
white.
the reason I told him
male
I
or female.
wanted him to look at it and see, because, there's some good salaries paid up, down, and some low was at the bottom.
I'll make a motion that we direct the attorney to get with the labor attorney.
Second, see what they
Forward
can
from
do.
there.
Yes, right there. Have a motion second on the floor, all in favor?
Aye.
All opposed, motion carried. Do you
Tell 'em-
have anything this morning, Michael?
No, sir, I don't have any action items for the board.
I have something,
Yes, sir.
Commissioner, that needs to be addressed. The general for the Corps of Engineers comes here, they invite him down once every year, every 2 years, water flows. That's gonna happen Friday at 12 o'clock at the Owl Cafe. In the last couple of years that we've done this, the county and the city split the cost of sponsoring that. I received a call from Betty Taylor Webb this morning that the county's portion of that would be, to co-sponsor this event, would be $350. I need to bring that to the board and see how the board feels about that. Do we continue to co-sponsor this event? I'll be in attendance on behalf of the board as I've been directed to try to look after these water wars issues for the board for a number of years. But I wanted to bring that cost forward and see if the board agreed, and we need a motion and a second
Yeah, we
to.
need a motion second on it.
Well, wait a minute, are you sure that all she needs is $350?
That's what I was told this morning.
That's what
We
we paid
split
last
this,
year,
we
wasn't
split
it?
this with the city of Appalachia. They pay half and we pay
That's about
half.
what we paid last year, wasn't it?
Yeah.
I'm not sure, but
Somewhere in that area.
somewhere right around there. But they told me 350, so.
All right, I have a motion second on the floor, all in favor?
Aye.
All
Aye.
opposed, motion carries. Any public comments?
I got a,
Okay.
before you go, I've got motion.
I was gonna say, no, we didn't ask the clerk, we kinda skipped over the clerk.
No, she told me.
Oh,
she
okay,
told
I'm
me.
sorry, I was just,
I got a mark right here, it said, nothing to say.
I was making just going through my notes.
I just got one thing. Coming over here this morning on Highway 98 between East Point and Carabel, I noticed that there's a contractor over there dumping black dirt on the rocks that's next to the water down there. And we have always been told we had to dump compatible sand or sand on it. Michael, can you contact, the contract company, I think it's Transfield or whoever it is, and find out what that's all about? Because once we have a storm, that black dirt's gonna go right into that bay in there. And they've always told the county that we had to do compatible sand. So, but I was just bringing it to point.
Yes, ma'am.
It just don't look pretty up there, certainly. When we're supposed to be a coastal byway, you know. So, anyway, that's it.
Any public comment?
I want this one.
Go ahead.
You know, on them hospital raises, it looked like in the end, we the bad guy, we not. What happened was, when they gave them raises, in which, I don't know how they done it, the CEO gave himself a raise, which his contract said in black and white what he signed. He can't give himself no raise. Then they gave some more people substantial raises in which they shouldn't have done. And in order for us to straighten this out, the lawyer told us we had to go back and take it off. And in order for us to fix it, we got to go through the law system to fix it. I mean, but we trying to do the right thing. And the way it was going, it wasn't gonna be nobody making no money, cause they was, when you come and getting $125,000 or $30,000 to put in your payroll every 2 weeks or every other week, you'll break Fort Knox. I mean, money ain't gonna last that long. So it's either straighten it out so they can have a job and do right. And we working with the people. So we'll get it straight. But we want that CEO know he on supposed to do what he did. And a couple more things, I mean, they got to make payroll too. You got people, he paying people high salaries and they haven't brought in a payroll. I mean, that don't look good, and that's not gonna work neither. They got to bring in the payroll. They got to bring in the payroll, because you can't depend on just that penny. 'Cause everything going out, nothing coming in, you're gonna break the bank. But we working on it. That's all I can.
Meeting adjourned. Do you have anything, Michael?